We've got a special group of guys in camp this week from Cabela's, and one of them just happens to be country artist and Cabela's ambassador, Lucas Hoge.
You know, and I got to meet Lucas a few years ago on some of our fishing trips, and then I've become a fan of his music ever since then. The plan with Lucas is he's going to be bow hunting. He's been practicing with the Cabela's Fortitude bow, and that's a fantastic setup that is dialed in. And I already know Lucas can shoot. I've seen him in action at the ACM Cabela's archery contest that we do. You know, he's got it dialed in. I've been fortunate to have him both on my team and actually have to shoot against him. So I know that he's got game with that bow. So I'm pretty excited to see, you know, what we can have happen.
We got into camp, and after flying with your bow, you definitely want to check it out first. And they have a great setup here with 3D targets across the property at different ranges. So being able to get out here, hang out with the guys, just chill out and get your stuff dialed in nice and easy, take the stress off, and make sure that your weapon's functioning accurately is a huge deal. And to be able to do it in such a great atmosphere, man, it's just great.
So we're going to start Lucas off in a box blind. You know, we just put this one up recently, and you know, we know the deer are there. It's in one of our favorite spots where we used to have to put a pop-up every year, and now we've got a permanent setup, and you've got shooting lanes out, you know, one side that go back into a persimmon flat. On the other side, you've got a big Sinisa flat, and I mean, it's a perfect place to go hunting.
So that first morning we're out there, and we get out there well enough time before the sun comes up. It had just been raining like torrential rains. I mean, it's muddy and wet, but we got out there and we got settled in before the sun comes up, and the rain quits, and we're sitting there, and you hear crunching, and you could see a silhouette of a deer eating grass, and you could just see that rack just towering above him, and it was just not enough light in the day yet, and the camera couldn't see him. I could barely see him, and he just walked on off, and we didn't see him the rest of the day. It was just fantastic. So much action going on all around us. I had never seen so many deer around me in all my life. So to see all that activity, get your heart going a lot, you know, and seeing great animals coming in, just beautiful, beautiful animals. Our interest was definitely piqued when we saw that guy, that we wanted to go back that night. So we went back that night, set up, everything was great. Another, you know, great active crowd of deer that came through there. And he never came in. So we figured he might be a morning guy. So we went back the following morning. Sure enough, he was right there. We got up before the sun come up. We had plenty of time to set up. All the conditions were right. Beautiful, bright, sunshiny day. And I got my shooting lanes and the deer blind, and everything was perfect. And he was just chasing doe left and right, eating a little grass here and there, and chasing doe. And he just would not square up to me, and I'm not going to shoot if he's not in the right spot. So the one shot that we got, he's turned and just walked off. I mean, he was probably 2 seconds, maybe it was the perfect shot. He just walked off. Said, see you later, not this year.
Country singer Lucas Hoge has been hunting out of a box blind, but after sitting there 3 different times without any luck, well, it was time to try something else.
I really, unless I'm hunting a phenomenal food source, I get nervous going to a spot 4 and 5 times like that. You know, the deer get nervous, you're putting in undue pressure in there, they get wise to you, and I just think it makes it harder and harder. And we only had a few days left on this hunt, and I thought, let's make a move. Let's try something different this afternoon. And fortunately for me, I was free that afternoon, and I was gonna be able to tag along with Lucas. And we parked a pretty good ways away, you know, made our way across the big spring creek that runs through there, got up, got set up, and just kind of had to sit there and wait. We got in there about 2 o'clock that afternoon, and immediately we saw a little spike that came crossing right through, and in my mind, I'm thinking, boy, if a big buck does the same thing, he's gonna get hammered. A doe kind of milled around out there. We had a young 8-point come in not long after I'd started rattling, and you know, it was shaping up to be fairly perfect for the late afternoon.
He took me to this great spot. The deer blind was perfectly hidden, and it's a big, one of those pop-up blinds, and it's a big one. We could get 4 people in there if we wanted to, if not more. I could stand up straight, and I'm 6'2", so it was great. Wade's sitting there with me, and we just see all this activity going around, and I peek up, you know, over, see the blind, there's trees right there. And man, I just see this beautiful, promising rack, and I'm thinking it's a 10-point, you know, and he's pushing buck and he's pushing doe around, and So I was sitting right where he came, and he came across to my left side there, and it couldn't have been better.
You got him. Dude, I'm telling you right now, I think you smoked him. I think you made a perfect shot right there, dude. I mean, it looked like it disappeared. I mean, from my angle, it looked in the heart, didn't it? It looked. Oh, man. It looked perfect in the heart.
Yeah.
Let's just sit here and wait a bit, let him do his thing.
Holy cow. That was good spot. My goodness. Wow.
You know, we give the deer a decent amount of time, and we start tracking. And you know, Lucas had watched the deer clear a big old black bush out there, and sure enough, we go up there and we start finding blood, and you find a few more drops, and you see that he's running hard. And in my mind, he's running dead. And that's the term that I say all the time when a deer's been hit in the heart and he's gonna go X amount of yards and he's just gonna fall over dead. You know, because that's what I saw when I thought the arrow went in and everything, and how it embedded and how it was standing. But as we got up a little bit longer, there was two big puddles of blood. And I'm thinking, that deer's not running dead anymore. He stopped here and he's bleeding. And when they stop and they're bleeding, a lot of things can be going on. He may not be hurt as bad, or maybe he's staggering, getting ready to go down, but there was definitely no splashes right there. He had stood in this spot and bled. And we weren't maybe, I don't know, 55, 60 yards from the blind, and I heard a scrambling and a few little rocks. And that made me nervous right then. And we just backed out. We got out of there. That's what I've always said. If you don't think that deer's dead and your sign's not, you get out of there. You know, track quiet. And if you think something's gone wrong, get out of there. And that's what we did. And we decided to go back out and look a little bit that evening. And we get back out there, recreate it all again. We're able to track the deer about another 100 yards. But we just weren't finding any blood. You know, we're thinking to ourselves, did we jump that deer? You know, is the arrow still in him, plugging it up? You know, if you're a bow hunter, you've got a million thoughts in your mind right now. Anybody at home right now, they're either criticizing or saying we should have done this, we should have done that, and yes, no, maybe. That's what I always say in these bow hunting deals, because you never have them until you have them. But after tracking for a little while and the blood quit, you know, and we made a few big circles, we got out of there. In my mind, I said, this is a dead deer. There's no doubt in my mind this is a dead deer. We just come back with a big army of people in the morning and start all over. Lucas made a perfect shot last night. You can see that arrow go right in. It's embedded perfectly in the shoulder. We tracked that deer for about 80 yards, and we possibly jumped that deer. We're a little nervous about that, but we don't really know. Blood just kind of stops. I really believe that the left side of that deer is the hole's plugged up from the arrow, so we're not getting a lot of blood. We found a couple of big spots where he definitely stopped that, so we backed out of here last night. We've got a search party out here with us right now. We're gonna kind of start the Easter egg hunt. The sun's just getting up. It was really cold last night, so you know what we know is the shot was here. The deer went that way, kind of down into a little valley, and that's our last sign. So we'll take search party, kind of spread out into a grid and see what we can find.
Feeling good. Wish we would have found him last night, but I think he's gonna be right up here. So it got awful dark. Easy to get turned around in this brush. So we brought the A-team out. We're gonna find this baby tonight, or this morning here. We figured we'd call in the A-team in the morning, so we got all the guys and we decided to go back to that same spot and just start from where we were and just start looking. And we found a couple little pools of blood that we couldn't find at night, and man, that led us right to him.
Is he right there?
He's right there. How
Come
close
on.
did we come to that sucker last night? Jeff and I were standing right here.
Yeah.
Jeff and I were, you and I were right here watching those does right there.
I walked all that tree line right there, and we came right back past it.
Literally, Jeff and I were standing right here looking at 2 does.
Are you kidding me? Woo! Yeah, boy. We got him. Right where we thought he would be. Look at that.
Get in there, buddy.
Nice. Oh, man. I'm pretty amazed. This is just awesome to see something like this out here. It's a great deer, great hunt, great shot. It was cool to finally get to hunt with Wade. I've been fishing with him before, but never been out in the field with him, so it was really cool to be hunting with all my good buddies out here. It's just a good time for fellowship and everything like that too. So to get a monster like this, I'm excited, to say the least.
When you get an animal in your sights like that and you do everything that you can possibly do to make it the best shot, the best kill, everything just like it needs to be, and then when you finally see that animal in your hands for the first time, man, it almost brings a tear to your eye. I'm so glad I got to come down here to the Whitetail Diaries Ranch and hunt with Wade and the boys, and look forward to coming back someday real soon.
Hey, be sure to check out Lucas Hoge's new album, Dirty South, now on iTunes, Amazon, or at lucashoge.com.
With a kiss from your lips and lay you down in the dirty South.